Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be invited to your conference. I try to speak as slow as possible to make you understand the most of what I'm saying. But I usually speak very fast in the end, so Lori will help me a lot with that. As he said, I'm working as a dairy farm in Norway. Our farm is in the southeastern part of Norway. If you look at the map, it's on the same level as Helsinki, just about. 150 kilometers north of Oslo is where I'm living. Yes. Before I tell you about my farm, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some key facts about Norwegian milk production. In Norway, we produce about 1,500 million liters milk each year. And there are 9,000, almost 9,000 dairy farms in Norway. And there are 230,000 cows in total. What is special for Norway is that there is almost 1,600 milking robots, automatic milking systems, either from Leli or from Dillaval. You probably know it as well in Finland. We are the country in the world with the highest number of milking robots, actually. There are 25 cows in each farm in Norway. That's the average. And the average production is 8,000 kilos with energy-corrected milk a year. I know that if you have in Denmark and Sweden you have 10,000, 12,000, but in Norway we stay on this level. And that's because our cow is the Norwegian red. It's, I think it is related to your Finnish Ayrshire, I think. It's not only milk yield, but its health and fertility is important for the Norwegian cows. A typical food consumption, composition in Norway is silage is 45%, concentrate 43%, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about grassing also later. The milk price, do you think it's good? Yeah. It's very important for you to know that in Norway we don't export anything. Almost, literally. All the production is for the inland domestic market. But don't get any ideas of sending your milk to Norway. Because we have these custom tariffs of 300, 400%. So you will not make a profit from it, I believe. And of course, if the milk price is good, all things we are using in our production is also expensive. So this is a typical price for concentrate. So we don't make much more money than you, I think. Okay, this is a picture of our farm. I'm telling you a little bit more of it later. This picture is taken on the New Year's Day, just 2 weeks ago. So it's not much snow on the ground here either. With this picture I want to show you, here is the most of our food for this winter. Here's about 1,000 bales. Some key facts about my production as well. We are two farms, neighbor farms, that working together in a joint operation. That's very common in Norway. Of the 9,000 farms I mentioned, almost 2,000 or 1,500 are working as joint operations. So me and my neighbor in 2011 we built a new cow shed, and as we are neighbors, we built the cow shed exactly on the borderline between those two farms. So yeah. We have 50 cows, 50 annual cows, as we say in Norway, and in Norway we have a system for milk quotas. You don't have it anymore, I believe, but our quota is 450,000 kilos a year. And we have a Leli robot. As I mentioned that the average production in Norway is 8,000 kilos. Our production is 9,400. Our farm, as I said, it's two neighbor farms together, and we also rent and then a third farm, so there actually are 3 farms together. In Norway, it's quite common to rent the neighbor farms. The farms are not for the soil or the farms are not for sale, but they rent it. That's very common in Norway. We pay an acceptable price for that. So we have 58 acres. We are using 15 of it for grain production, 8 acres for grassing, and 35 hectares for grass production or silage. Yeah, so we produce about 1,200, 1,300 bales a year. And as I'm going to show in the next picture, the cows are grassing from early May until mid-September, night and day. They're going out and in from the cow shed themselves. We never have to collect them. It's a voluntary milking system, so they go in and milk when they feel like, and then they go outside again. And that works for most of the summer. So this is, in Norway it's important to say that the cows have to be outside. It's a law saying that the cows have to go grassing or at least be outside the cow shed for at least 5 weeks. If you have them outside for 16 weeks, you get subsidies for the grassing. So almost every farmer in Norway, they have their cows outside. So as you can see in this field, we have divided it's in 4 pieces, and we move the fence every day. And it's also important to mention here that to have the cows go in and out, you always need to have silage inside available for them. Before we start to talk about the grass production, I will show you that we have a very low mechanic inside the cow shed. This is a loader with a, what do you call this, a crocodile mouth to grab the bale. We drive the bale in front of the cows and we roll it out. We don't mix it. I don't have a mixer. Many farmers in Norway have a mixer, either a PMR or a total mix TMR also. But I think it's too expensive, too much time consuming, and too much energy consuming. So that's why we use it very easy. So the only mechanic inside the house is the milking system, the robot, and also an automatic calf feeder. It's also important to mention that we are 2 neighbors running this farm together, so we split the work between us. So I have some free time from the farm, then I work on another job as well. So we have chosen to use all our work efforts inside the cow shed. That's important for us. So we hire a lot of services. So this is the grass cutter. It's from a machine station. This is the saw machine. It's also from the same machine stations. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So now we're talking about our grass production. This is the cutter. It's 2 cutting machines, 3 meters both. You can also have another one behind this, so you could have cut 9 meters. But as you can imagine here, it's quite steep here. It's not easy to see it here, but it's quite steep on my fields. So this is big enough for the grass cutter. It's also important to say that we cut, in our part of the country, we cut the grass 3 times each summer. And we always try to cut as early as possible. You can see some flowers here. That's you should not see that because this is we try to cut as early as possible to get as great quality. Quality is more important than quantity. So we always try to cut as early. If you see the head of the Timothy, it's a disaster. Then it's blue lights on. Then you have to run out to the field at once. You are going to hear more about acids and afterwards I've learned. But it's important for me to say that we always use acid. Even if the grass is dry or it's wet or whatever, we always use it. And I see it as an insurance. It's a very cheap insurance to have a great quality grass. I'm going to tell you about our fertilizer strategy. As you see here, this is also from a machine station or from a neighbor. It's not our equipment, but we are using this dripple bar hose-based system. So actually there is a hose going from our manure from our manure storage until the tractor. So it's a pump who is pushing this out. And we use 35 ton per hectare. That's a At least that's the plan says. We have to spend maybe a little bit more to get rid of all the manure. That's the problem. And of course, sorry. and of course we are using this as well, but we try, should not say that loud. But of course this product costs money, so we have to use it to balance the nutrition in the grass, of course. So we use Yara Mila in the spring and also at the last turn. Somebody may think that's strange. We should use Yara Bela also for the last time, but that's to make the grass ready for the winter hardiness. We always try to put on the fertilizer as early as possible after the cut. Of course, the weather is deciding when to do that, but we always try to put on the manure just before rain weather. It's not very easy to get it in practice, but that's the aim. And this is important, very important. We leave the grass at 8 to 10 centimeters to have the grass to start growing faster after the cut. Quality silage, yeah. That's what I'm going. That's my issue. Most farmers, they only count the number of bales, and they are happy if they have a lot of bales, then they are satisfied. But we need to know what's inside the bale. So there are two things we do to know what exactly is inside the bale and how much grass we have for the winter use. So this is a weight. We don't weigh each bale, of course, but we weigh about 15%, 12 to 15% of all the bales are weighed. Then you get a very good average. And what we learned from starting to use this weight is that the weight can vary very much, about 200 kilos. Even if it's cut the same day, the bales are made the same day, but still the weight can vary with 200 kilos. And this is, you cannot read this, but this is an analyze report. We always take 1 or 2 analyses for each cut. And one analyze consists of samples from 3 or 4 different bales. We drill a hole into the bale with an electric drill to get deep into the bale and to have an analyze from that, which is sent to the institute. That's probably the same as you do. And then we got the report from the institute, which is very important for us to calculate what we have in the grass bales. And of course, that's the basis for the concentrate we use. So, and also we can see that the first cut had a dry matter percent of 45, which is quite high. Then it's sunny. And you can also see that the raw protein is very high, and also the energy value. It's not easy to explain these values, but it's analyzed value. Yeah. So if I know this percentage, I know the energy value, and I also have the weight on the bales, which is okay. And then you have the number of bales, and then we calculate, here is the number of bales. And then we can calculate how much energy we have, and also how much dry matter there are in each cut. And as you can see, here it was sunny, it is early June. The first cut, this was a late, because you might remember that last summer it was quite cold here as well, I believe. Normally we take the first cut on the last day of May. And also we see that the last cut, mid-September, is very wet, and the bales are weighing about I don't recognize this, but
that's in dry matter.
Yes. So you need to explain it, or so?
Yes.
So if you look at the number of bales it's the same area for all 3 cuts. It's the same area, but you see the number of bales is a big difference, and also the total content of the bale is quite different. You can think that you have 450 bales on the 3rd cut. It's very much food, but actually it's not very much when you look at the content of the bale. So what are we using this for? Of course, we need to calculate the cost of the production. it's relatively easy for me to do it because, as I said, we are hiring most of the services. And then it's much easier to calculate it than if you do it yourself. So, so this is the prices for our total production. We have calculated, it's in Norwegian kroner of course, we have recalculated to euro. Of course it's an issue with the euro currency rate because the Norwegian kroner is quite weak at the time. As you might know, the oil price is going down and Norway is going down as well. So this is just to compare to see what it costs. Of course, the most expensive in the production is the bale. This is, as you can see from this picture, it's a combined press. It both press and pack the bales in one operation. So that's of course the biggest total price. I also have we also pay rental for the farmland. As I said, we are me and my neighbor. We have a company together. So actually, we rent all the land, either from ourselves or from another neighbor. So we pay. So this company pay rent to the owner, which is ourselves. So that's why it's easy to also set the price on the land. Yeah. We also set a price on on the work we're doing ourselves in the grass production. Last year we put in 110 hours, which is mainly the fertilizing we are doing ourselves, and we drive the bales together and put them in the storage place. That's with 1,200 bales, it takes some hours. This price is the overprice, which is comparable to 22 euros or something. It's just a price we set, which is we think we should have to do this work. It's of course discussable, but we think that's the value of our own workforce. Yeah. So why do we do this calculation? It's of course to find the cost per bale or per megajoule, which is the measurement we use in Norway. This is the total price from last page. This is the total number of megajoules or energy corrected production. This is the number of bales. And then we find that each bale costs us 54 euro to produce. And there's a discussion going on in Norway that the concentrate is too cheap and the grass is too expensive to produce. But we have proven that our grass costs exactly half of the concentrate we buy from the food producer. And we also calculate this because we sell a few bales during last year we produced a lot of bales, so we have something for sale. And of course we have calculated the price, then it's much easier to know what we can sell it for. But the problem is there is not a well-functioning market for grass bales in Norway. A farmer, he don't want to pay more than 300 kroner, which is 25 euros approximately. That's what he want to pay, because a bale is a bale. But in our system, it's not. We have calculated the price. So actually, if I'm going to sell it, this is the least price we can take for it.